Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to the movie Mutafukaz. Which just is, every time I say it, it's just really fucking weird. And yes, by the way, I know I need to shave. I'm being lazy. Um, but anyway, so Mutafukaz is another one of our movies for the donation rewards. Um, so as you know, I believe last week I got to the last one, which was oh, my mind is blanking. Oh my god, my mind is blanking like shit. I can't think of it. My mind's just completely blanked out on it. Do I really have to look it up? Like, that's ridiculous. I cannot remember for the life of me. We did do some movie reaction last week. I swear we did. My mind's just blanking on what it was. Now I'm not finding it. Oh, there we go. Happy Death Day to You. Okay, so last week we did Happy Death Day to You, and that was really fun. It was a great movie. Great sequel. Even if it wasn't, like, perfect, but it really only had one real big issue, I feel. But today we get to Mutafukaz, and this is a movie by Ankama, the people who brought us the likes of Dofus and Wakfu. I don't know anything pretty much about this movie. I don't know what to expect. I've seen a couple pieces of art, but that's it. That's all I know about it. And I have no context for the art that I've seen. So I'm going into this completely blind. All I know about is it's on Kama, and I believe that it is more adult than Wakfu and Dofus. Which for Dofus, that's not that hard, but for Wakfu, it's like Wakfu could get pretty adult at points. But I think this is like meant more as an adult animation. Probably not as much as like Last Man, but yeah. Um, but yeah, I don't know the story. I don't know characters. I don't know anything. I don't even know like if it takes place in the same world as Wakfu, the world of 12, or if it's just something completely separate. Probably completely separate. But I don't know. That's the thing. I have no clue. I have no frame of reference at all. But I am interested to find out. But yeah, this was a donation reward, so we're getting to this. And after this, we only have a few more movies for donation rewards left. Do I have the list up? If not, I'm not going to worry. I don't have it up. I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. But there's like, one is a documentary on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I believe. Something like that. But yeah. I am interested to see what this is all about. Based on the time, I really do need to get to this now, though, so it's a good thing I don't have too much to say here. So that means we can move straight into the reaction. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I really enjoyed this. I actually thought it was really good. Not everything I feel was properly explained. And the big things that I'm still wondering about is the entire thing with Willie and Vince. Because they even made a point multiple times in the movie of mentioning that Vince is a fucking skull. He is a fucking flaming skull head. They make a very heavy point of mentioning that. And kind of how he stands out and stuff. But at the same time, that's all they do with it. They don't mention why he looks like that or anything. At least they explained why Lino looks the way he does. And I'm just going to call him Lino rather than Angelino, just because it's easier and because that's what he was referred to throughout pretty much the entirety of the movie. So yeah, Lino, it explains why he looks like that. He was half macho. um, from his father's side, which the dog was his father. It's like I didn't actually catch that like early on, but like when it started to, basically when it started the scene like right where it was revealing that, and after it had already revealed he was half macho and everything, it's like it just like suddenly came to my head because I remembered the dog had the tentacle thing going on. So I'm like, wait a minute. um, so yeah, he's half macho, half human, and that explains why he looks the way he does. But apparently, uh, half breeds can gain the traits, gain different traits, just kind of randomly. So while he looks like that, while Lino looks like that, it also explains why um, someone like Luna could look more normal human. Because even though she's a half breed as well, her father, presumably her father's the human, and her mother, I guess, was the macho. Um, but the fact that she's a half breed too, she looks completely different. So her, I guess, traits got mixed differently when she was born. Now the way everything was resolved for the most part, and the way kind of the big climax came to an end was with the global cooling created by that rocket. Um, but the thing is, the entire thing about how the global warming came about and stuff, how the government, which was completely run by this organization, the Men in Black organization, um, the fact that the government completely was run by them, and they were forcing this global warming on the planet in order to allow for these macho to exist and roam around us and all. Um, that came into play very late into the movie, and it felt like it was almost kind of just like thrust upon us. I feel like it would have been better if we had little hints of that kind of thing, like maybe have something said early on in the movie about how the Earth, about how global warming had been happening, about how the Earth had been getting hotter and hotter, and maybe they did, but I didn't hear anything. So if they did say something, let me know, because I didn't hear anything to hint at that, and it just kind of felt like it came out of nowhere as a plot point. Um, but yeah, the Guardians helping the scientists and all fix things, launch the rocket to create the global cooling and all, which froze the machos. It was a nice touch. And I'm glad that the Guardians were able to have a role to play. Luna being moved by Lino's insistence on remaining basically quote unquote human, and well, also because her father was a dick, was also just a really nice move, and having her kind of save him in the end was a good way to end that. I also like how there was definitely a love story between them, but they didn't actually get together in the end. I can appreciate that when they do that sometimes, because it feels like it's going against the grain. Because definitely the stereotypical way to do it would to have them be together in the end, but this time they don't get together, and it felt natural. It felt natural in the way they handled that. Unlike in something like what was that other movie I reacted to? It was one of the monthly movie night reactions. Crap, I can't think of it. Hold on, let me get that up real quick, because I want to make that comparison. Was it 12 centimeters per second? It might have been 12 centimeters per second. Let me just get it up to make sure. I think it was, though, because in that movie, that was the movie where it was all about the guy and the girl who had the relationship, and it just skipped out through different points in their lives, right? And in the end, she ended up with someone else, and he ended up, I guess, alone. Yeah, that would have had to have been 12 centimeters per second, based on everything I've watched. So yeah, in that one, it felt unnatural in its execution because of how much it skipped around, and how, like, kind of just wavy their actual relationship was. It didn't feel natural in the way it handled it. But this time it did, because honestly, Lino and Luna barely knew each other in the first place. They did kind of fall for each other, have a little bit of a crush on each other, but they didn't actually get together because honestly, they didn't know each other. And Luna really, she was inspired by him to live her life, to just get out there and live. While she saved Lino's life a lot more directly, of course. So it was kind of still mutually beneficial. And he still thinks about her, and I think it's clear that she probably still thinks of him. Um, Now, the main bad guy, Mr. K, Giancarlo Esposito's character, he survived in the end. Not only did he survive, he completely got away with everything. Even though all of his plans were put up in smoke, he somehow got to the moon and started a moon base there, and now he's sending people out in actual UFO-shaped objects. What the fuck? Giancarlo Esposito is a fantastic actor. Like I mentioned, I know him mostly from Breaking Bad as Gustavo Fring, or Gus for short. Um, and he was definitely the best antagonist in Breaking Bad outside of Walter White himself. Because let's be honest, no matter what you think of Breaking Bad, and I think it's a great show, Walt was the bad guy. Very much so. Walt was definitely a bad guy. And hell, he even admitted it in the end. He even admitted in the end that he may have started off for good purposes, but he lost his way really quickly and started doing it for his selfish reasons and all. But either way, Gus was an amazing villain and really one of the highlights of the show. And so it was great getting to see him in this and to hear his voice and do so well. And yeah, he still had this very great, intimidating presence, and he was a good voice actor. Danny Trejo, I did not realize that was him at first. I knew he was in the movie, but I wasn't really like actively listening for his voice. I did not, for the life of me, know that was him. But after I realized that was him, it's like it was super, super obvious. um, Michael Chiklis, like again, once I knew that was him, it was so super obvious. Um, because I swear he was Ben Grimm in Fantastic Four. Yes, he was Ben Grimm, the thing. And also, yeah, No Ordinary Family was that TV show I mentioned, the superhero TV show that was canceled after one season. Um, huh. Also, he's apparently in Gotham, but I stopped watching that. And American Horror Story. I still need to check that out. But yeah, so that was, you could definitely tell that was him once you knew. Um, the other actors in this, I don't really know, at least not to my knowledge. Let me look them up, though. Angelino was voiced by Ken Michael, um, who I guess originally was known as Kenny Blank, but he changed his name. Um, let's see, was he in anything that I know? Does not look like it. He's in the Saints Row series, apparently. Oh, he was in As Told by Ginger, really? Geez, I haven't watched that show in a long time. He's just done a few various random things. Just nothing major, I guess. And I wouldn't even consider this major. Vince was voiced by Vince Staples. And like I said in the reaction, I thought they were saying Vince at first. Vince Staples, I've heard the name before. Apparently he is a rapper, singer-songwriter, and actor. Part of the hip-hop trio Cutthroat Boys, never heard of him. What do I know you from, though? Let's check your filmography. You've been in nothing I know. Okay, I must have heard someone talk about him before then. Oh, he's straight edge. That's interesting to know. If you don't know what straight edge means, it basically means that you don't do drugs, you don't drink, nothing like that. Um, and apparently Vince Staples is straight edge. Cool. That's interesting to know. Yeah, I must have just heard the name before. Willie was Dino Andrade. Dino Andrade. Apparently, he's done voices of like gnomes and stuff in World of Warcraft. Oh, he was Scarecrow in Arkham Asylum? Oh, wow, okay, that's a role I know. Okay. And Scarecrow in Arkham Underworld, iOS as well. Oh, he was a few just random characters in Helsing Ultimate. Cool. A couple members of the Wild Geese, I guess. British officers, helicopter pilot. Anything else I know? Stuff I know but have not seen in just regular uh, Western animation. Apparently, he was in Fast and Furious. Okay, so I know him from a couple things. Um, let's see. El Tigre, who was one of the Guardians, was Jorge Gutierrez, who is an animator, voice actor. Oh, he created El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera. I never actually actively watched that. I never got into it. And he directed The Book of Life as well. Never saw that one either. Okay, so he's done some things, some notable things. He was a character designer for Mucha Lucha? Wow, okay. I remember that. A writer for an episode of Brandy and Mr. Whiskers? I watch that all the time. You have no clue. I make a joke about Brandy and Mr. Whiskers a lot, how it was the show that really made me a furry because I always had a big crush on Brandy growing up. Uh, he was a guest music video art director for something from Class of 3000. Wow, I remember that one. Oh, and apparently he did a voice of a character in The Loud House. I don't recognize oh, that's why I don't recognize the title. It's a newer episode. It's from this year. Okay. Luna was voiced by Dasha Polanco, who apparently is from Orange is the New Black. Okay. So that's a bit of a bigger name, although I still haven't seen that. That's another one I plan to check out at some point. And that seems to be the only big thing she's been in. Shakespeare was RZA, who is, I think, a rapper. Yes, rapper, record producer, actor, director. Oh, he's the leader of the Wu-Tang Clan. Okay. I've heard of them. I've heard some of their music. Not like a massive fan, but I know of them. What have you done acting-wise? G.I. Joe Retaliation. Okay. I don't think I ever saw that one. Repo Man. Did I see that or not? No, I didn't see that one. I've heard of it. District 13, never saw that one. Man with the Iron Fist. I definitely saw that one. He directed that? I did not know that. There was a good movie, not great, but good. Okay, so he's been in a few things. Okay. And yeah, I obviously know Giancarlo Esposito and Danny Trejo. I don't need to look them up. But yeah, overall, I think this was a really good movie. It was very enjoyable. It was fun. The characters were likable for the most point. Willie was annoying as fuck. Let's be honest. Willie was annoying as fuck. He could have been taken out. He did not need to be there. He didn't even do anything in the end. Like, I thought for a second he might have grabbed the gun and helped out, but no, he just bitched out. Um, it was definitely very mature, not just because of the language, but there's a lot of blood and gore. There was one scene that showed nudity, and it only really showed a girl topless, and then it showed Danny Trejo's character almost completely naked, but it did kind of have shadows around his crotch. Um, and there was one other scene where it showed a girl in nothing but a bikini dancing around with her tits flopping around. Um, but yeah, it definitely wasn't as graphic with the nudity and stuff as like Last Man was. Um, but I mean, even if it were, I wouldn't necessarily have minded. Um, it don't matter. But yeah, it's like really, really interesting. Um, Apparently on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 41% based on 17 ratings, which it's like, I would definitely rate it, and it says average rating of 4.9 out of 10. I would definitely rate it much higher than that. If I were to give this a rating just off the top of my head, probably an 8 out of 10. Yeah, maybe an 8 out of 10. Somewhere right around there. I'll have to think about it for a little bit, but yeah, either way, I mean, I did enjoy it. I hate to say it, but it was better than Dofus. Not the movie necessarily, just this. It was better than the series Dofus. Um, Much better than than Dofus series. The movie, I think the Dofus movie still might be a little better than this one. But Whack Fu is definitely better for sure. Not even a question. Whack Fu is definitely better. Um, but yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good, pretty enjoyable, and in the end, I think it was definitely worth the watch. So tell me in the comments below what you thought of this movie. What did you think of the characters, the plot? And please tell me if they did mention something about the global warming before the point where I found out about it, because if they did, cool. But if not, then that is a bit of an issue. um, but yeah, tell me your thoughts down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. I don't know when the next movie reaction for the donation rewards will be. Most likely, I'm going to try next week, but I, as usual, can't promise. So I'm going to try to do one next week. I'm going to try my hardest. But yeah, I have to get to this month's monthly movie reaction too. I just thought of to the Forest of the Firefly Lights. So maybe I'll do that next week. I don't know. We'll see. In the meantime, though, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,